Thanks, Mark. The only pressure that Oak Grove really faced in their trip through the playoffs was their #1 ranking. They started out #1, and they ended up #1 as they wrapped up the title in the Dome. Joining us on tonight's show is Vic Dalrymple, the head coach of Oak Grove. Coach, the pressures of being #1 from start to finish, did that grow as the season and as the playoffs went on?
I think it kind of went up and down. We tried to deal with it from time to time through the season, and I think probably the best way to deal with it is just kind of keep it under wraps. The guys did a heck of a job of not letting it get to them. You know, you have a burst there earlier thinking, well, we're going to be under the gun, and then you get to deal with it for a while. But each time you come up with a big game, you know somebody's shooting at you, especially when you're supposed to win. And we were in a lot of situations where we were supposed to win, and that did add a little heat. But I think the guys come through in every situation, and they weren't relaxed, I'd say, but they were real businesslike in knowing what they had to do.
Now, the way you all went through the playoffs, you breezed past most of your opponents, and Saturday's game turned out to be a little closer than most people expected. Did you feel that helped or hindered the way you handled everybody getting to the Dome?
Well, you can't really ever trust anybody going into the game. No matter what stats are, what kind of team you have, the ball has a way of bouncing and messing things up. So, you know, we talked about the various things could happen and were prepared for the worst possible scenarios. And I think it paid off. We had the situation early in the game where we lost Steve and kind of put us in shock for a minute, but it's a real tribute to this ball team's maturity that they could overcome that and get back on a plan that we could be successful with.
First quarter action, running back Steve Freeman goes down. You've told me all along, and Jason Martin has always told me, Oak Grove likes to run the ball. Steve's now on the bench with a bad knee, and you come out throwing. Did you feel you'd have the success that you did airing the ball out?
We felt all year that we could throw the football. We had standard time in practice each day to do that. Just the occasion never came up in a year where we had to use the throwing game. And, you know, our opinion is that running the football, if you're successful with it, is a safer offense. Maybe a little conservative, but safer. And, you know, the situation was there where they were right in our face up on the line of scrimmage and matched up man with us, which made us be in a position where we needed to open things up a little bit. And the line did a heck of a job of giving us time. We had seldom had pressure, and Jason did a good job of throwing, and we had some good catches made. So it was good that we had spent that time in the fact that we'd ever needed, and it just so happened that we'd probably been in a bind had we not had the passing game, too.
The first quarter touchdown pass to Josh Bradley, what was the call there?
Well, he had a 15-yard in route, what it boiled down to, and this turned out to be a real big play. That's the next play after Steve got hurt, and when you got a player that you've been counting on all year, you know, even though there are a lot of good players on the team, then they've got a certain role in your offense, and they go down, especially in the finals where momentum changes are so drastic, where you could just feel the air getting tight on the bench. And it was a real big deal to come back with that next play, and it was a mid-range timing route, and Josh made the catch and broke a tackle and sprinted into the end zone, and this really gave us a lift when we needed it.
You go back down, and it's Jason Martin to Josh Bradley again, this time the short-range pass. What set that up?
Well, we've been pounding off tackle on the left side with a lot of consistency there. And you could see the flow of the backers and the safeties. They were keying Josh, and when he blocked down, they'd fly in there and become an extra backer. So we had worked on it prior in the week, you know, thinking that they were going to be keying in the man defense and coming to help the run. So he just had kind of a 2-count delay where he blocked down on the tackle and then released out behind, and it worked real nice for him.
Now, you go into the locker room leading 17-7. What did you tell the team?
Well, the big thing was that, you know, just like it always is, it was up to us, the outcome. And we thought that the biggest thing going into the second half was going to be our mindset. And we talked a little bit about it. It was only fitting that through the course of the year there had been so many tools that worked well for us that we had very little pressure in the second half of any ball game. And you know, it was only fitting that in the finals they'd have to really reach back and get it and do some things that they weren't comfortable with and go through some some hard times there to achieve their final goal.
I thought the third quarter was the end of Ascension Catholic. In fact, my favorite touchdown of the game was Jason Martin to the game's MVP, Dean Jackson. What was the call there? And I didn't think you could draw that one up any better because it was a deep route.
Well, it was the same play that we scored the week before on, and we haven't used that route all year. It's a bootleg back away from the flanker. Usually all year we've been bootlegging to the flanker. And it's just a deep post route, but it takes so long to develop, he has time to run way down the field and get separation, and it worked real good for him.
The end of the third quarter, you guys are up by a bunch of points. What did you tell the team rolling into the fourth? Well,
it comes down to the fourth quarter, we're thinking now let's just get some time off the clock. We're in good shape here. You know, I think probably an error on my part was going to the pass one more time. We're in a situation where we needed a few yards, and the play just didn't work out and give them a quick one. And it put us in sort of a bind there, and then we come back and put a lot of pressure on them in the end zone. They make a heck of a play and run a 90-yard fake punt, see? So they got two real big plays, which is a tribute to them. They did a good job there. But when it come right down to the end, I think we did what we had to, and that's finish that clock off and not let them get their hands back on it.
Coach, did you feel that Dean would have the type of game he had, wrapping up the MVP honors?
I really did. Dean, through the course of the whole year, has done this for us. In the big games, he has made 2 or 3 real outstanding plays, and he's the kind of guy that thrives on attention, and there's no more attention in that game. So we felt like he'd have a good game in whatever capacity, whether it be offense or defense. We knew he would make some plays for us.
Coach, congratulations on a perfect season and a state championship. We'll be back with the rest of the showdown in the Superdome right after this.